It's the monkey. Okay. Hello. Am I on? I don't see red. Okay. I'll start talking. Hello. Welcome to Essential Living with Pilar. I'm Pilar, and welcome to this show of all things holistic, our planetary experience as cosmic beings on this Earth planet, and all that entails as we learn more and figure out how to be harmonious with all life on the planet in every way that we can think of. So tonight's topic is the zodiac. As you can see behind me, we're in the cosmos, this beautiful cosmos that we are sort of like the little ghetto of, unfortunately, but we're working on it. So this month, or this episode, we're choosing this for a variety of reasons. There's a lot of planetary activity going on, and so I thought it'd be a good time to kind of go over really basic, more an ancient interpretation of the zodiac and how that came about, other than studying astronomy, but how we came to understand the energies of what that means and how it affects us, especially what time of the year we are born, and how that works ultimately, how we can take advantage of that. Because sometimes I think, and I don't mean to, well, like everything else, there's great and there's so in astrology, there's a lot of really fantastic people that really interpret this science, because it is a science, in a very accurate and practical way. There are some that not so much, so just kind of shedding a little bit more light on it, just for fun. So I got this little synopsis of this one little piece of sort of an ancient, not ancient, but yeah, in a way, ancient interpretation of how the zodiac came about. So I want to read it briefly, just for a little bit of background. See if that piques your interest. And it's short, by the way. The original purpose of the zodiac. And our present gallery evolved from a former gallery. And this former gallery consisted of 12 suns, each responsible for 12 planets. So that's the number that we're playing with for the most part. And that'll evolve. It is an infinite universe. But for the time being, that's what we're working on. And all the cosmic virtues really were expressed and are expressed through those 12 radiations, basically known as rays, but is really an energy that is pulsating toward all life. But it is particularly around our planet, because we're sort of like in the center of where everybody's revolving. And everything is ongoing, but here's how it affects us. Here it is. The idea was, and again, this is going on the belief and subscribing to I don't call it a philosophy, I call it fact, that there are other beings out there. And for the most part, I dare say that they are more advanced than we are. We're working toward improving, but I'm one that knows that that is the case. So it was decided, since Earth's been needing a little help for a while, that there would be those 12 temples of light established in a horizontal way around the Earth to radiate that energy around, that goes around in sequence for a period of about 30 days, like a cycle of 30 days at a time, and always in that sequential order. And each one of those radiations have a beneficial impact on us. So the crux of it is that often certain times of year and certain planetary influences are perceived as negative or troublesome. But that's not the case. Each one, there's no negative, there's nothing malicious, there's nothing other than uplifting and empowering of the energy that comes out of each of these 12 temples. So each of the zodiac signs that we know have a certain pulsation of energy. So the year, the astrological year, the astronomical year starts in the spring, and as opposed to the calendar that we use that starts in the winter for the new year in January, really nature starts to flower. It begins the year of production of spring, where life springs anew after being dormant for the months of winter in the spring, and it begins with the sign of Aries. And that is a sign, and each one of us that is born under a certain sign will have that certain quality of that sign more strongly pronounced within us. But as the time goes for each sign to pulsate as energy, we can use that energy to be of assistance to whatever we're doing in life. So, you can't really go wrong. It's just a matter of going with the flow. So in the spring, Aries is a sign of leadership, it's a sign of beginnings, a sign of getting going. And of course, that's reflected in nature. Everything starts to sprout, life begins anew. So it's a good time to start a project, for example. The sign of Taurus is of building. It's a sign that likes to have material security. So it's in a way is the time that furthers along where we're starting to plan things to produce something that tangible, some sort of tangibility that we can use in life. This is a security. The sign of Gemini is a sign of as a very mental sign of a consciousness expansion. And these signs are often misinterpreted as like, oh, you have, multiplicity, and it's just a variety of, and that is the effect of expansion of consciousness. Followed by the sign of Cancer, which is a very nurturing sign. It's one of the most fertile signs that there are. It's sort of like the mother of the zodiac. Then now comes the time of Leo, which is kind of whenever whoever's watching this, we're in July, we're going to get to that in a minute. The sign of Leo is a sign of creativity, of putting your heart into everything you do. It's a very enthusiastic energy that comes with this time of year. It's very dramatic, it's very passionate, it's very strong, but it's a very powerful sign to really get you going to live from your heart desire. Then comes the sign of Virgo, which becomes, once you figure out this desire of living from your heart, is how are you going to put it into a plan that works. So it's an organization of things. It is a structure. It's it's the details, in a way. So that's helpful because you need a plan. So that's how it starts to help you harness. The sign of Libra is a sign of balance, freedom, justice. It's also a sign of beauty, attraction. What do you want? What do you want to attract? So it gives that impetus as the year progresses, and it's a sign of the time of year where is the harvest. So you're going to collect and bring to you the result of what you've been building so far. Then comes the sign of Scorpio, and that's always a tricky one. People hear the word Scorpio and go, ooh. But the sign of Scorpio is a very powerful energy. Is the sign of giving you that extra power to accomplish, because it's persistent, it's consistent. It will not take no for an answer. It's a laser focus that one needs to really get things done. Sagittarius is a sign of enthusiasm, is a sign of expansion, learning, connecting, learning new things, expanding your horizons. And then you put it into a disciplined structure, followed by the sign of Capricorn. With wisdom, discernment, pick what you need, let go of what you don't. Also discretion, to know when to do, when to not do, to kind of have that, in a way, a better judgment of timing. This also used to be known as Father Time, in a way. It's tradition is getting things into an infrastructure for things to function. You need a system. The sign of Aquarius is tolerance and brotherhood and expanding in group. It's a global sign. It doesn't bring it to the personal level. Is what expands brotherhood and sisterhood and humanhood into a community of service, of humble service, and it helps all life. And it winds down again in the cycle of the sign of Pisces, which is a very spiritual attainment sign. Once you've gathered all of this knowledge, you can really connect with your spirit and kind of close the circle as the Alpha and the Omega, because that means you have completed the cycle of human evolution and you are now complete and whole because you have integrated the spiritual with the material. So that's just kind of the general energies that we can use to our advantage as they come along for support and to push you into the right direction. So back to the time right now, it's a very important time of the year. It's sort of like the middle of the year. And that has a significance because that's sort of like the apex of the pyramid. Some people think the middle way is compromising, but the middle way is really the best of both sides gathering into a point of convergence for power. There's a lot going on planetarily, big, huge total eclipse coming up later this month. So there's a lot of cosmic radiation being imbued into the planet Earth and our lives individually and collectively, because it is time for an acceleration of vibration on this planet, and it's happening collectively. We talked about the Schumann resonance a little while back, and it's all amping up the forward push of the elevation of the planet Earth. But right now, this time of year, there's an anomaly called the Lion's Gate that opens up right now. Actually, tomorrow is the first day. From July 26th to August 12th, it's a period of heightened energy. It's called the Lion's Gate. And in the ancient days in Egypt is when, and it is what happens still now, Sirius would align with the pyramids of Egypt. And Sirius is considered sort of like a great central sun. And that was a time of a gateway of influx of energy. It would be the time that the Nile floods really, and it would prepare the land of Egypt with a fertile soil with which to plant a harvest and actually have a fruitful harvest. So it was a very auspicious time, a very fertile time, a time of abundance. On a more energetic level, this gateway opens up the same sort of thing in a personal and level with us individually. So what does that mean? How can we be receptive to take advantage of this energy that's happening now? If you can spend more time in quiet time, in meditative time, It is a time. If you think about it, it's the centering. Like I said, it's the centering of that pyramid. So you want to focus on opening your third eye, your inner vision. If you look at our dollar bill, that capstone on the pyramid is where that eye is. So if you can think of our human body as in that shape, and put that symbol, plop it over our human body, you would want to put that eye right here in our third eye chakra, which is our inner sight, insight, where you can receive ideas from your higher source, from your personal source, which is we're all connected to our higher self, and that is where all our wisdom should come from if we listen. So how we can balance our own energy so we can actually be receptive is to be in alignment with our energy centers. We'll go more into that fun topic in our next episode, by the way. We'll go into the energy centers and really what that means in a more expanded way. But for the time being, focusing on the third eye chakra and the solar plexus. The solar plexus is considered the sun presence. That is what they call it, solar plexus. This is, and if you think why physically, it is the middle section of our spinal cord, where all the energy is radiating toward all these organs. So there's a lot of activity coming into this area of the body. And so to let that expand and be calm and work on the nervous system by being quiet and centered and going within, kind of converges all the flow of our tube to let that energy come in. So the numbers too, interesting, in terms of numerology, what happens with the number 8. The number 8 is considered the number of infinity. And the Lionsgate peak is 8, and is 888. This year is 2017, so it's the number 8. 8 is August is the month of is month number 8, and then the 8th day. So we have 888 in a lot of ways this year. So what's the significance is the number 8 is the balancing of the material and the spiritual, and it's an ever-going flow. It's an ongoing, unstoppable flow of life. So even if you look at electricity and Tesla coils and how that goes, it's just always a flow. It's non-stoppable. That's we take in energy, we give out energy. That's the ebb and flow of nature in every way, is that pulsating rhythm. And that is symbolized by that number 8 of infinity. There's no beginning and there's no end. It's just an ongoing movement and motion and momentum. So it's an important time to be aware, because it is also, what does that mean at the end of the day? What are you going to do with all this information that you might allow yourself to get if you sit still? Is what do you want to do? What is your heart's desire? Letting yourself be willing to live from your heart's desire, to dare to live from your heart's desire versus giving up, discounting it. That would be really throwing that energy in the garbage and throwing it away, because it's there to tap into if you want to. So open that faucet of yourself and let it come in, because there's no reason not to. Why wouldn't you take advantage of something wonderful that's happening and say, oh, no, I don't want it? If if somebody would offer you something that you really like, you would take it. So look at it as something like that it doesn't come with this particular strength and momentum and vibrancy all the time. This particular time, the planets are align in a certain way that hasn't happened in a long time, many, many years. Certain planets are in certain positions that haven't been there in a long time. So it's time to kind of pick up the pieces and come that full circle into your self-realization. And looking into your future with optimism and with strength and courage to live from your heart's desire, and also to plan it so it'll actually come to come to pass. So it's all that is available to tap into. So that is something to consider. Take advantage of it, enjoy it, work with it. Since it's a time of year where we're out in nature a lot, because the weather's nice, unless it's too hot. But still, take advantage of being able to be out there and take in the sun. Even if it's for a little while, just absorb that energy, because that is the life-giving force that is so heightened right now, because we're in the middle of that year. We're at that apex of we're peaking in the year to allow for that energy to come through. And if you are a fan of studying pyramids and what pyramids are capable of, and sacred geometry, and what that shape is that reaching onto the sky, and the sun being stronger is radiating more strongly upon that. And that really is an expansion of everything possible, all the possibility. But it's the heart center. It's the heart center that is expanded. The heart, and right here, this is our heart sun. This is our sun, right here. So allowing that to sort of like, it's sort of like plugging yourself in to that source. You know, you want something to work, and like, think of it like an electrical instrument that you plug into the wall to make it work and amp the energy. You know, plug yourself into the sun and to this time of year and to the Lion's Gate. Read about it. Look it up online. You know, let yourself be curious about it. So, see, you know, I don't have enough time to tell you enough about it, but if it piques your interest, there's a lot of wonderful information that might help encourage you to have the courage to live from your heart and take that lion energy of the Lion's Gate, sort of like symbolized in The Wizard of Oz. The Cowardly Lion found that he had courage. So it's interesting that the lion is the tangible symbol of that sun, of that courage, of just being able to live fully who you are. So let yourself do that, and open up to that energy. Be able to let yourself go the extra mile and do whatever it takes to create your future, the future that you actually want to live, because you can do it. If you tap into it now, you'll get the battery charge that you need. So we'll talk about our other energy centers next time, because they all tie in together and they all work in synergy. But for the time being, tap into the Lion's Gate. Starts tomorrow. So start setting a list of intentions tonight, maybe. Write down what you would want your future to be. What you actually, what you do want your future to be. Put it on paper. Make it real. And use the energy of this time to let your heart expand and say yes. Say yes to your life. And let it flood in. So on that note, I will let you go until next time. But again, starts tomorrow, the 26th, peaks on the 8th of August, and closes on the 12th of August. Of course, the energy will still be radiating, doesn't ever go fully away, but this is like the big bazooka of it. So on that note, thank you. And thank you to my friends that make this wonderful show possible here at Thurston County Media. and my buddy Bob over here, and Arnie and Waldo, aka Tom, or vice versa, and Andrew and Dan and everybody. I love my family here that makes this wonderful show. For me, I love it because I get to share stuff that I love, and hopefully you enjoy. So, love you, and we'll see you next time. And tap into the pyramid. Reach up for the sun and let it charge your heart. Till next time. I have to remember to say next time I changed the name of the YouTube channel too.